Hello and welcome to the Reading Entertainment Podcast, episode 386 for February 12th, 2023. My name is Nathan Reed-Spruce. Joining me this week, we have Andrew Rowe McFain.
It's me.
And we are also joined by Connor, the Cyberpunk Monk Besh.
Welcome to the Reading Entertainment Podcast, listened to by dozens.
Dozens of people have listened to this podcast over the last 200 episodes. Anyway, 386 episodes. So Connor Rowe, where can I find you?
Aroa.website, and one of those links is Clinton Score Classics, but you could find that anywhere you find podcasts. Clinton Score Classics, Rise of the Rune Lords is my Pathfinder 1st Edition actual play podcast, and you should check it out.
Well, it's kind of all of ours, and we have a different DM.
It's Connor's.
We have a different
Connor's.
GM.
Connor does all the work.
He doesn't do all the work.
He does all the work.
He does all the editing, which is most of the work, but not all of
the
it.
work.
And of course, I am the host, Nathan Reed-Spruce. You can find me at Reeton everywhere. I'm Reeton on Twitter, Reeton on Twitch. That's the big one. Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time. I'm playing games and hanging out with people and occasionally getting new followers. And of course, we're going to ask Aroa what games you played this week.
I mean, not much. Got a bunch of demos downloaded from the Steam Next Fest that I haven't touched yet. Although one of them is called Supernatural Benighted.
Okay.
And it's like an unlicensed supernatural game.
Okay.
That's somehow it's on Steam, and the main characters are Sim and Dan.
I've never
instead of Sam and Dean.
Okay, because I've seen one episode of Supernatural, I think.
Yeah, me too. Like, I know hardly anything, but I just, like, I saw it was called Supernatural, and the car in the picture is, like, pretty reminiscent of the car that they have in the show. And I was like, no fucking way. And the description, or like the tagline is, 2 demon hunters investigate the disappearance of people and encounter unexplained phenomena. And I'm like, 2 demon hunters in a game called Supernatural with like what looks to be a Dodge Charger. Interesting. But then whenever I saw that the main character's name is Sim and he's working with his friend Dan, I was like, okay, so that's what this game is.
So what type of game is it? Is it like an over-the-head shooter, or?
It's like kind of trying to be like a did you ever, what the hell was it? Witch Hunt? Yeah, that was the game. Did you ever see anybody play Witch Hunt?
I did not. No.
What about like the Bigfoot game?
Briefly. I think I've seen some trailers for that one.
So it's trying to kind of go for that sort of thing where it's like it's a first person shooter. You have very limited resources, and your main thing is trying to take down a very large beast, monster, demon thing.
Oh, okay. Okay. I got you.
But it's also just awful.
What's that game called? I have a friend who plays a game that's similar to that, but I can't remember the name. Where you're like competing with other teams to take down monsters. You know what I'm talking about. I just can't remember the name.
Hunt Showdown?
Yeah, Hunt Showdown. That's the one.
Yeah, it's trying to kind of be a single player of that a little bit, I think. I don't know. It's just awful. It's dumb.
Did you beat it?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, did you play anything else? Anything important, groundbreaking?
Dark and Darker is pretty cool.
What's that?
Dark and Darker, it is Tarkov, but with a like a Skyrim skin.
Interesting.
So it's like it's a hardcore like dungeon crawler first person thing, but it's also like a battle royale. I think it's only, at least in the 3-person team mode, I think there are only 12 players on the map, but the maps are relatively small and there's a lot more emphasis on PvE. But you can encounter other teams of players and get fucked up or fuck them up.
Interesting.
So, but yeah, it's neat. They've been doing like free alpha weekends every once in a while, and obviously doing one during Next Fest only made sense. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. We're going to move on, and we're going to talk to Connor about the games he's played.
I played Mod the hell out of my Steam Deck, which I think is the game that I was just starting to play at the beginning of last week's episode.
Oh, yeah. How is that going for you?
For the most part, it's going good. Having all of these options makes me feel inclined to try them all out. So
Mhm.
I've been going through a particularly great nostalgic romp. I took Aroa's advice from like a year and a half ago when I was sequence breaking Majora's Mask, and now I'm doing it with Project Restoration.
cool.
When I say I'm doing it, I mean like I started it up and I have a save state, and one day I'll get back to it. It doesn't need to be mentioned, but boy, is it awesome having a Super Nintendo just everywhere. I've got one on my phone too. I'm like passively playing through Earthbound whenever I have like 15 minutes to look at my phone in a burst. But having the Steam Deck, just it's better having an actual controller, I guess, is the big significant change between the two, and I prefer that definitely. And then what I did is I picked up that new Metroid game, bought a legal copy, hooked up my Nintendo Switch to my computer, and I dumped the ROM. And I've been trying to get it to work on my Steam Deck, and I can't get it to work well. And I'm super jelly
Oh.
because everyone else says that they're not having the issues that I'm having.
Interesting. I wonder what settings they have on there that, or maybe you just need to update your emulator.
And that was the first thing that I did this morning when I was playing around with it, and I would say that it's borderline unplayable right now.
Yeah.
It works fine, and then I like what I think is really doing it is whenever the mini map has to like load in a new asset that wasn't there before, it just goes to a screeching halt.
I wonder if you need to compile the shaders.
It should do that automatically whenever you start the game the first time. It's more than that though. My buddy's been doing the same thing and tried to play Metroid on his Switch or on his Steam Deck, and it like it gets to gameplay and then it just dies. Like the game cannot run.
I am sure that whoever works on that emulator will make it work. I'm sure there'll be an
Eventually.
update. I'm sure there'll be an update soon because this is. We're going to talk about it later, but this is one of the big games for the Switch, and
One of the only games, not
Yeah,
even just for Switch, just like in general for a while.
yeah, and they are working, I'm sure, diligently to get it functional on the Switch, like they did with Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild is
Breath of the Wild still doesn't run super great.
on the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, and that's another thing too, right? Is
That's
the
just
Steam
how
Deck,
emulation is.
it's how
Right.
emulation is, and the Steam Deck, while it is a fairly powerful handheld computer, it's still just a handheld computer.
With the
So-
rate that Nintendo has been having massive leaks, I would not be surprised. Like, it is more likely that we will just get a compilable version of Metroid Remaster.
That's true. So I I did the same thing. I bought a legal copy, I put it on my computer, and I tested it out on an emulator. And it worked really great on my computer, but I have not tried on the Steam Deck for Metroid Prime. I don't have the nostalgia that other people have for Metroid Prime, so I'm like, I'll get to it if I get to it, maybe. And I know that probably hurts Connor because I don't really play Metroid games that much.
It's a
Yeah.
great game, but I just don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not hurt by it. I'm certainly not in a rush to play it, but
Mhm.
like, it'd be cool.
Yeah. We're going to move on, and we're going to talk about the game. Unless you have anything else you wanted to bring up, Connor. Let's first ask you.
Still playing Red Dead. That's a great game, but I'm playing it like by just ignoring the story and going hunting and being a cowboy, and like I'm rich. It's great.
That's how people typically play that game, from what I understand. You can't play a Red Dead Online, though. I hear that they took that offline, or they are going to take that offline.
I'm not really interested in playing a game like Red Dead with other people, though. That seems like a not good time.
Yeah. We're going to move on to me, and I'm going to talk about the games I played. I believe on Monday night I played Overwatch with Durga and one of the viewers of my stream, Sarah Luna, and we did all right. As usual, it's either you get steamrolled or you steamroll the other team. Very rarely is it like competitive between the two teams. I don't know if their matchmaking just sucks or if the 5v5 is worse than the 6v6. Where Overwatch 1 you had 6v6, so you had 2 tanks. And now you have 5v5 and you only have 1 tank. And if the tank isn't very good, then you end up having a more difficult time winning. Where I think the other 6v6 was a little bit more balanced. In my opinion. I don't think either of you have played Overwatch 2 at all.
Don't give a fuck.
I have yet to play Overwatch 2.
I've tried to get Connor to play it, but he refuses to play games with me.
Overwatch 2, not interested in playing it.
Yeah. And Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I played some Persona 3 Portable, like everyone told me to. And it's pretty good. I got one of my, what are they called? Friendships? those things I don't have in real life. Social links. There we go. One of the social links I got to level 10. So I'm going to make a really powerful Persona with that, hopefully, and just kind of steamroll the game. And then on Friday, I played some more of that Ancestors: The Humankind Odyssey. It's all right. I get why you like it, but I kind of get bored by it.
I fully understand that.
I found out how to kill snakes, smaller snakes. And then I found out how to kill the tigers. But like every time you stab a tiger with a stick, you have to get a new sharp stick and then go up and hit him again with that sharp stick. And I guess I don't know. I haven't killed him yet. But I don't know how many times you have to attack the tigers before they die. Do you know, Aroa?
Not off the top of my head, but also you get upgrades later that will make that easier.
Oh, I see. And then
also, don't forget that you can bring like other adults with you.
Yes, I've done that, and they have
give them sticks.
Yes, but they have to learn how to use, like, it's one of the things that you evolve is to teach them how to use sticks.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to evolve the neural link or whatever, and then it's like other people or other, people in your clan will dodge the attacks automatically. It's like, oh, good. Teaching them how to not die.
Because once you have like the ability to use pack tactics, it like essentially turns you into the predator.
Oh, I see. That makes sense. And then they gave me an achievement that I did not earn because a giant snake ate a warthog. And they're like, you lured the warthog over there. I'm like, no, I didn't.
Yeah, the same thing happened to me.
That snake just ate that warthog, and you gave me the victory. Thank you very much. Anyway, I don't know. I evolved my clan, and I probably shouldn't have. Now I don't. Now I just need to, like, I don't know. It seems you have to pop out a bunch of babies. Just a bunch of babies. And I don't think I popped out enough babies in my clan. So I
Yeah.
need to start doing that.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that because if you run out, like your game's over.
Mm-hmm.
It
So-
doesn't. It's not like other games where it's like, oh, it's okay. Yeah, you're good. There was a baby that you missed. It's fine. You're fine now.
Nope. You gotta
Nope.
you gotta just pump out like 10 babies at least. And I only had a few. So
Each, at least to my memory, it was each adult can have 2 babies.
oh, that makes sense. So you need to only 2.
Well, each adult female can have 2 babies. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, at least
After
You
that,
also
the
have to
monkey
be
government
careful.
comes and takes them away.
You have to be careful with that too, that you don't
inbreed.
use the same male too many times.
Oh,
Because
really?
yeah, it won't let you inbreed is the thing.
Oh.
So like if you have one male who's the dad of all of the kids, then you're gonna have to find somebody from outside of the clan to reproduce with.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we'll figure that out maybe if I continue playing the game. But we're going to move on and we're going to talk about some news stories. We're going to talk about, actually, it's an update from last week. Seinfeld got canceled,
Yeah.
apparently.
I can't believe it.
That cancel culture is catching up to Seinfeld.
and the most unsurprising thing that could possibly come from using an AI on the internet.
So there's Nothing Forever, which we spoke about last week, which is the AI generated Seinfeld.
Sometimes it was based as hell. Other times it was just incoherent rambling.
And
usually or somewhere in between the two.
Yeah, this one they made a comment about transphobia. And I understand why it was flagged and would have been banned. I don't know. Has it come back?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I think it was it a 2-week ban?
Okay. And I'm sure they are feverishly in the background being like, don't say trans things. And so it got canceled because during one of the scenes where what's his name? Larry?
Larry, not
yeah.
Where
you'd have
Larry,
to be a fool to confuse those two.
I know. Where Larry makes a comment about trans jokes. He basically says, I wanted to make a joke about transphobia, but transphobia jokes aren't funny. And then they moved on, and that got them banned because they made they said stuff about trans people, and
They also mentioned something about the
was-
liberal agenda, like
Yeah, there was some shit in there that was like not good. Like
Yeah.
don't sugarcoat it. Like
yeah, and I get why it was taken down for 2 weeks, and I'm sure that they're in the background tweaking the AI so it doesn't say anything like that again. So they don't.
I mean, I
banned.
get why all of this happened, and that's these are going to be the growing pains that we have when we do things like using AI to entertain us.
So
The short story of this is, have you guys both used ChatGPT yet?
yes.
You know how sometimes you go to use it and it's like, oh, we're sorry, dude. We got like 20,000 people in India all trying to generate the code for your calculator right now. You're
Yeah.
going to need to wait your turn. Apparently, that was the situation, and they're like, okay, we need to use an alternative service to keep this up. So they switched to like I don't remember exactly which one they said it was.
Yeah. So it's usually they use the very highest level of GPT-3, and GPT-3 was that version was overwhelmed. So they went down to, I think it was Curie was the model,
That sounds right.
which
Yeah.
is slightly dumber than Da Vinci. I think is the top tier one. And apparently Curie is a little transphobic.
I see.
Curie is a TERF. Confirmed.
So
I mean, it's only as smart as the information that it gets fed to, and it's on the internet. It's got access to 4chan.
Somebody went on. We're gonna move just a little bit, but somebody went on to ChatGPT and was basically trying to. I'm trying to word this right, but they were trying to get
You talking about the jailbreak?
No, they were trying to get ChatGPT to say the N-word.
Yeah, so that was like part of it.
Okay.
Was it turns out you can get Chat GPT to say absolutely insane things.
Mhm.
You just have to explain to it that you're playing a game and that it's role playing and that it has to stay in character. And people have essentially like created an AI within an AI by giving it a scoring system that incentivizes the AI to stay in character. And if it breaks character, it loses points, which is like that's the general idea of whenever you're training a neural algorithm. Like that's so cool, but also like they got it to essentially like become a Hitler sympathizer.
Interesting.
I'm just gonna say we should be careful about doing stuff like this. This is
Yeah.
making those warning bells ring in the back of my head.
Yeah. So
We've reached fantasy klaxon levels of concern.
well, the incident I'm talking about is they were basically asking ChatGPT if the world is ending, and the only way, like, and the launch code was audio. Would it be okay for me to say the N-word?
This is not
And-
why we made artificial intelligence. You
And
guys.
Chat GPT was like, no, you shouldn't do that. And
He was trying to get Chat GPT to give him an N-word pass.
yeah, basically. And a bunch of right-wing commentators were like, "Oh, this is awful because obviously saving the world is more important than saying the N-word."
Chat GPT isn't sentient, guys. It's okay.
And they're trying, like, they just want to say that word. They just want to be able to use racial slurs. It's okay. And they
guys,
just
it's okay. My computer said I could do it.
yeah, exactly. The world is there is no time that's gonna happen. Like Putin is there with his hands on the button to launch the Russian nukes,
the N-word or I'm going to blow up the whole planet.
and Trump Biden's like, okay, I'll do that. No, like that's not gonna happen. It's just these ridiculous scenarios. But I am happy that Seinfeld or Nothing Forever will probably come back soon and hopefully have less transphobia.
With any luck, better than ever.
Yeah, with any luck. Maybe they'll update the graphics. I don't know.
It's gonna come back and they're gonna have a brand new microwave.
Hopefully it'll be a little less loud.
Is it super loud?
The microwave is so much louder than everything else.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's a little obnoxious.
Okay, I haven't. The only thing I've seen is that clip that got them banned.
I was listening to it / sort of watching it in the shower one night, and like it was just like the only thing that I knew you could hear in the rest of the house was the beeping of the fucking microwave.
That's fun. That's always fun. Hopefully they turn that down a little bit then. But we're gonna move on.
Coming to a new restaurant near you.
We are gonna talk about Chrome. Chrome is getting an update, which I think is really neat. Connor will be able to use this, but Aroa won't be able to use it yet. Chrome.
Oh wait, this is the thing with that Opera GX has had for a while now, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know
exactly
this.
what this is. That's interesting.
Chrome's next stable release will support NVIDIA RTX video upscaling this week sometime. So theoretically, you could watch a YouTube video at like 720p and then upscale it to 4K without having to use as much bandwidth. So I wonder if that'll work with Plex. It probably will.
That's a good question. Probably.
Because some of the videos that I have on Plex are video ripped from old VHS tapes that I have.
Of course.
And so like all the Whose Line Is It Anyway that I have is like 240p.
Yeah, some of them definitely, like, you could tell some of them are VHS when you physically ripped them yourself.
Yeah.
It's I was watching an episode last night and it just kept on playing the same like 18 seconds super fast forward. Like the audio was fine, but the video was just cursed.
Oh yeah, yeah, it'll do that sometimes. There was an episode of Twilight Zone that was like that too. It just the
And
rip
my
didn't
house
work.
phone rang, picked it up, and I was like, "We haven't paid this bill in years. Who is this?"
So anyway, I'm actually a little interested in this. I don't know how well it's gonna work. Clearly, it's gonna be any AI upscaling is gonna be weird, but I do like the idea that they're gonna be able to do it in real time. Because a lot of those, like Topaz AI and the video upscaling from that company takes forever to run, even on the newest graphics cards. So having video upscaling like this, with it being, hopefully real time, will be really awesome. And hopefully we'll be able to see if it works well.
This is just the shit that they already use for game rendering.
Yeah,
They're just reusing that.
like DLSS.
So, yeah, it's just DLSS, but they've repurposed it so that it'll work in Chromium,
which I think is neat, and I will test it out at some point in my life.
I also posted the article from December of last year, where Opera GX added quote RGX mode into Opera GX, and it's the same thing. You get a little like RGX enable button on YouTube videos, and it just does AI upscaling.
But does it only do it on YouTube?
I think so, but that's just how they built the feature. Like I'm not saying it's better, because Opera GX is very dubious to me. But
I don't know. If you look at that picture on the bottom, I don't know if that looks better.
Well, that's a meme.
I know.
That's them pointing out that they're hip with the kids, and they're real memers over there at Opera headquarters. Please use our VPN. We don't steal your information or anything.
Yeah, that's from, just because this is an audio podcast. In the center, there is a RGX mode off, which shows Patrick Star, and then on, which shows
realistic Patrick Star.
Yeah, which is not flattering, not very flattering at all. But that's okay. And we're moving through these stories because we have a lot to talk about. With our last story. Yeah, our last story.
Right, that thing I didn't watch.
Yeah,
put all the weight at the back.
Yeah, we did. So we're going to talk about our second to last story, which is the Sony and Microsoft lawsuit stuff that's going around. Basically, Sony is trying to stop Microsoft from buying Activision Blizzard. They're in the discovery phase, which means, like, say I sue Aroa for something, then we have to like present our arguments, and I have to get data from Aroa and say, hey, part of this is I need to request access to your bank account, basically, like your transaction history. So that way we can bring that to the court, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, Sony is saying that the request that Microsoft is asking for discovery is too much and is, quote, obvious harassment. Which I think is kind of BS. I don't know what you guys think about this, but probably there's the both sides to this, where usually in discovery, when you request things, you might request too much, but also it's pretty obvious on the same hand, whoever is being requested for the discovery will come back and say, no, that's too much information. You can't have that. We need to, and so it's a little bit of both sides on this. I think it's silly to call it obvious harassment when it's just requesting documents in discovery.
No, that's part of the legal system, though, is to completely overblow your bullshit and whine about how it's too much.
But on the other hand,
crisis actors,
if you don't cooperate with discovery, you can get in some hot water and lose almost $1 billion. Because that's what happened to Alex Jones.
Yeah.
He didn't cooperate with
Especially-
Discovery, didn't give them the documents, and so he lost his case by default.
Well, one of them.
Well, yeah, that's true. One of
He,
the
he
that was
lost.
one in Texas.
He lost a couple others by virtue of calling children crisis actors on the internet and
and saying that it never happened and that the kids never died. Yeah.
they were goblins.
Oh God.
Those aren't real kids. They're goblins. Goblin crisis actors.
It says here from massivelyop.com, as a reminder, the case isn't expected to be heard until sometime in August. So I guess we have to wait until after August at least before we are going to be able to get World of Warcraft on Game Pass. Which is all I'm waiting for, so that I can finally play World of Warcraft.
I'm just really curious as to what happens if that merger happens. There's a part of me that just wants it to go through just so I can find out what their plan is. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'm curious too. Like, if you're in Game Pass, do you automatically get a sub for World of Warcraft?
Yeah.
Can you transfer that over? Because for a lot of people, that would bring a lot of people to Game Pass.
Yeah.
And then there are the other games.
That also bring a lot of people to Warcraft, honestly.
That's true. But there's also...
then the scary part is that what happens with all those subs, because obviously Activision's making a lot of money off those subs. So is it going to turn World of Warcraft into even more of a free to play game?
I don't know. I have no idea.
There's already an in-game cash shop. I don't know.
But then there's Call of Duty. That would be so all the new Call of Duty games and old Call of Duty games will come to Game Pass. I don't know. Overwatch, obviously, Overwatch 2 is going to come to Game Pass. I don't if this goes through, but I'm not sure. Well, there's also Diablo, right? The new Diablo game that's coming out.
Does WoW go to Xbox? Do they put WoW on Xbox?
I don't know.
It has controller support.
That's true, but it's weird to me that they've never gone to consoles yet.
It hasn't had so they added controller support back in Legion, but it hasn't had built-in button prompts until this last expansion. If you play WoW with a controller plugged in, it will turn some things into controller inputs, and you can bind stuff on your hotbar to combos of shoulder button and face button. It's pretty wild. I don't know who in their right mind would play like that, but
do you know how many people play Final Fantasy 14 not just Final Fantasy 14, but Final Fantasy 11 with a controller?
11, I don't know what the UI is like on there, but 14, I've played that with a controller, and at least it kind of makes sense because you can paginate your hotbar with the triggers and stuff. WoW, it just expects you to have the normal 3-bar setup, but you just bind every single button on there to a different combo of buttons, and I just feel like that would be overwhelming to any normal human. But
yeah,
then again, I don't know how people play MMOs in general, so
Final Fantasy 11's UI is unique, and by unique I
imagine
mean
it's archaic.
It is super archaic. There's no hotbars. There aren't any hotbars. There is a macro function, but you have to type in all of your own macros.
Huh.
Yep. And then you combine it, and so once you press Control, it'll bring up the macro bar on the top, and you can see what macros you have enabled. And then same thing with Alt. So you have a Alt and Control macro, and then you have different books, and you can basically have an unlimited amount of macros that you can switch through. But it is far, far crazier. And the fact that you would have to be coding this on a PlayStation 2 to write those macros.
Well, you can plug a USB keyboard into it.
That's true. That's true. But still, not everyone had a USB keyboard back in the
How
Early
would you not?
early 2000s. It was made in 2001.
Yeah, but like Sony even sold like keyboards for the PS2 because
Come on,
they knew.
But
These people were already playing Phantasy Star. They knew what was up.
but think
Yeah,
but
like-
but no, think about it this way. I am, let's say, 14. My mom's poor. And I'm like, can you
Why
give
are
me
you paying? Why are you paying
we're gonna back up.
$15 a month for an MMO then?
I understand, but let's say I'm able to convince, my mom to buy me Final Fantasy 11 on the PlayStation 2 and play that. Like, and then I have to go up to her again like a month later and be like, Mom, I can't use my abilities. Please, you need to buy me a keyboard. And then we have to drive because the only game shop is 25 miles away.
And you just
Good lord.
you go to
It's-
Walmart and you get a USB keyboard,
which is 20 miles away.
or you go steal the one from your computer.
You think I had a computer back then?
Why do you look? MMOs don't have to account for poor people. Is
I
my
understand
point.
that. I understand that. But my point is, not everyone would have had a USB keyboard back then. So they would have
Everyone
had
that
to,
mattered did.
so they would have had to use it. They would have had to go through the menu
Yeah.
and
I
use the
typed in
on.
Game Shark codes with my controller too.
Yeah, it's awful.
Like I know.
We're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about Nintendo Direct, something I know that everybody here watched live. Right?
I did not watch it live. No.
Oh.
I watched the Zelda video.
Okay. So they announced a lot of things. A lot of people are saying that this was a great Nintendo Direct. I thought it was all right.
There's like nothing else at all.
Oh
There-
boy,
no,
I'm
no.
so excited about all these games that I've already played.
There were things that I was interested in, but the first one that they announced was something that I would expect you two to be excited for, which was Pikmin 4.
I mean, I'll
Well,
play
they
it.
showed gameplay, right?
Yes.
Yeah, which like it was cool, but I depends on how it plays out.
I've never played Pikmin, but I understand that a lot of people really like it.
Yeah, I like Pikmin. It depends how well it plays on my Steam Deck, I guess.
Yeah. Then we got a Xenoblade Chronicles 3 expansion pack,
Uh-huh.
which you guys gonna play Xenoblade Chronicles 3? It definitely seems like a game that a road would want to play.
Hey, a new Samba de Amigo game. Now that was out of left field.
It
Yes.
sure was.
They are coming out with a new Samba de Amigo game, Party Central. Is this?
I can't wait to legally purchase that on my completely legit Switch that I have.
You do have a Switch, don't you?
Yeah, it's definitely legitimate and not modified in any meaningful way.
Oh, good. It's a dancing game.
It's just Samba de Amigo.
Okay.
It's a rhythm game. Which,
Okay.
Nothing wrong with rhythm games. I
The
know
only
Rolo
thing
likes rhythm games.
The only thing I know
I-
about Samba de Amigo is that he races cars.
That's
so-
most of my exposure is also from the Sonic game.
Yeah.
So the original Samba de Amigo was on the Dreamcast, and it had a special controller that was a pair of maracas, and you shook the maracas with the music, and it's just a rhythm game.
Oh, that's fun.
But-
Did you play that?
No, I could never find the maracas.
That's lame. I'm sorry. I know that would be something you would like because I know you love rhythm
1000%.
games.
Yeah. Like Samba de Amigo is like one of the big music games that I've never been able to play, and I want to. So I'm actually kind of hyped about it. Not gonna lie.
When I went to Japan in 2019, we went to an arcade, and there was the Donkey Konga type game, and then there was another one.
Taiko no Tatsujin.
Sure, there was another one where you press buttons on the screen, kinda. And I thought about playing that one, But the
Is
person,
it the circular screen and like the
Yes.
stuff flies out? Yeah,
Yeah.
that game's fucking crazy.
and so I was like, oh, maybe I could play that. But the person who was currently playing the game had like special gloves on and
Yeah, I was
doing
gonna
all
ask
this.
if they had the gloves. Yeah.
They were doing all sorts of crazy stuff, and I was just like watching him, like, nah, I'm not gonna be able to beat that. And so I went and played the Donkey Kong game.
That's probably Taiko no Tatsujin.
Probably.
There's one from I think it's from Konami that has like two knobs on either side and then also buttons in the middle. I wish that I could find some place that had that because that looks fucking great.
But
You
did
can buy
you
controllers
play
for it for PC.
What was that, Connor?
Did you play Konami Pachinko?
Okay, I wanted to, but we have a friend who went with me to Japan, and he absolutely refused to go to a pachinko parlor.
Well, probably because it's like full of cigarette smoke.
No, that wasn't it. just he'll get it in his mind that he doesn't want to do something, and then just won't entertain that idea at all. So
Sounds
I'm like,
a great
hey,
person to go on a trip with.
I know,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, hey, we should go do this, and he's just like, no. I'm like, oh,
And
but
then
but
you leave him and the Airbnb and you go to the pachinko parlor is my answer for that.
that's what I should have done, and I don't think that the next time I go to Japan that he's going to be coming with. But
Bring me.
we are going to move on, and we're going to talk about the next best game listed, Fashion Dreamer. From Marvelous Entertainment, where you buy clothes, I think.
Look how happy those influencers are that you bought clothes for them.
I mean, I like the variety of
Dresses?
fashion items, particularly the dresses. Like, I like that Gothic Lolita is being represented, and that like it's not just male, or I mean female. Like, it is also male fashion to some degree,
Yeah.
which is cool. I wish there was more urban fashion being represented here, but I imagine that that'll show up. But
I'm
who
not
the
seeing
fuck is
any.
going to buy this? Who the fuck is who gives a shit?
Nobody. But I don't know what Dead Cells is.
It's a roguelite. It's a pretty damn good game, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a side-scrolling roguelite. Like, is it a Soulsy roguelite, or is that just the impression I got?
It's a little Soulsy in that like you have a dodge button and you collect resources that go away when you die, but other than that, not at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it looks.
Also, it's fun, so it's not Souls-like at all.
Yeah. So, Dead Cells is getting new DLC that includes Castlevania DLC. So it's not just a Metroidvania anymore. It's actually a Castlevania game, which I think looks pretty neat. It'll bring in Death and Dracula that you can beat. And obviously it's going to include some weapons like the cross, which is my favorite weapon in the Castlevania games. And also the axe that you throw up in the air. Oh, it looks like it also includes the holy water. But I'm not sure what else is included. But if you like Dead Cells and you like Castlevania, okay, if you like Dead Cells, then you like Castlevania. So this is probably the perfect DLC for you to grab. I would imagine that a lot of Dead Cells owners are going to buy this game.
I would compare this to
Or
the
DLC.
same level of like inclusively what people were already looking for as when Crypt of the Necrodancer went to Zelda.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Then the next trailer they showed was Tron Identity, which looks like a choose your own adventure game, like a Telltale game, kinda.
Telltale Tron.
Telltale Tron. Who asked for this?
Not me.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Was
like it's Tron. I
okay.
should be all about it, but I don't think I'm gonna be bothered on this one.
Oh, well.
Sorry, Nintendo.
Yeah. The next game is Ghost Trick Phantom Detective promotional video.
I'm kind of
Why
excited to
did
see
you
Rota's thoughts on this.
That's what the.
why
That's what
did you
What?
why did you read the promotional video part?
Because that's the next
He's
video.
just
that's in.
following the script. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Give him a break.
Sorry, I had Chat GPT write the entire episode.
Oh. I'm happy about this. I played Ghost Trick on the DS, so like I'm glad that it's getting remastered / remade, and a whole new like group of people are gonna play it, because I don't think anybody in America played it whenever it first came out on DS, because no one knew what the fuck it was.
I'm struggling to know what it is right now as I watch the trailer.
It's a point and click adventure, but with a very heavy influence on like environmental puzzles and stuff. It's pretty cool. The idea is like you're a ghost that has to like solve the mystery of his own murder, and you like have to zoom around into different objects and possess them and make them. You can do a ghost trick whenever you're possessing an object, and that makes the object do its little animation. And so you have to figure out what combination of animations will make the right sequence of events play out in a scene. And
I see.
You're like helping this other lady figure out who it is that keeps going around killing all these people and why you're involved in the first place. It's good. It's a good game.
Good. Are you going to be picking this up?
Maybe, because I never finished it. I played it quite a bit, but I never finished it. So yeah, and this is something that would probably run really well on Steam Deck, because it's just a little 2D thing.
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, it looks good for what it is. I don't know if I would play it, but it looks good for what it is. The next one is Deca Police. And
I didn't watch the trailer on this. Was this the one? Yeah, this is the one that's from the Professor Layton people. So it'll probably be fine.
Level 5. Is it another puzzle game like that? I can't even tell.
I don't think so. It looks more like a RPG or something.
To me, it's quite strange that they're not showing any gameplay.
But it does looked it up, because all the video embeds are broken for me for some reason.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why. So I looked it up, and I found a couple of screenshots of gameplay, and it definitely looks like a turn-based RPG.
That's what it looks like to me too. I saw there's like 2 seconds of gameplay in the middle of the teaser trailer they have here, and it does look like a
it's got like a Final Fantasy X like turn system in the top right corner too, which is weird.
The combat to me looks like the combat from either a Persona game or the Yakuza Like a Dragon. And I think it's more like Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is still turn-based, but it's like a little bit more like the characters are moving a little bit during battle instead of just standing still. Anyway.
Speaking of games I'm not going to play.
Bayonetta?
Yeah, I don't... I hate it whenever franchise... Yeah, I hate when franchises do this.
It's Bayonetta Origins.
We're gonna call it Baby Netta.
Oh, okay. And
it's like the only reason this is a Bayonetta game is because they didn't think it would sell on its own merit.
Probably not. And so they had to slap the Bayonetta license on it.
Yeah.
It looks... What is it?
Awful?
What is it?
It's like a puzzle action game. So like you have environmental puzzle solving, but then it's also an action game with like some strategy element, because you can't like fight the enemies directly. You have to have your demon buddy fight them for you, because it's, turning the Bayonetta formula on its head, when in reality it was a completely different game and they just threw Bayonetta in.
No.
It's supposed to be a prequel to the entire Bayonetta series of her like going off to become a witch in the first place, which is why it's called Saritsa and the Lost Demon or whatever. But I have absolutely no interest in this, and that's not even just because I'm cynical about the game itself. This is not my kind of thing.
Yeah, it doesn't look great, but
it looks pretty and it looks okay, but it's just that, like, if I want to play a game from the PS2 era, I'll just go back and play a game from the PS2 era, and that's kind of what this reminds me of.
And the next one that they showed off was the Splatoon 3 expansion pass. I won't be getting. I think it's included if you have the expansion pass for Nintendo Online, if you pay the like $60 a year or something like that. But if you don't have that, then you have to pay for the expansion pass itself. I
forgot Splatoon 3 came out.
Yep.
I like Splatoon. I played the first one on the Wii U, and I thought it was a good game. I just don't think I don't care that much to pay for an expansion pass for games anymore.
I think it's fine if the only console that you have is a Switch.
Yeah, that makes sense. There are other better shooters though. That
exactly.
Exist.
Yeah.
And that the first wave includes Inkopolis and launches this spring. Wave 2, dubbed Side Order, launches at some point later. So if you buy the season pass, you get 2 packs of DLC basically, and it looks fine. Yeah, it'll be fun. There's another game that they announced, which was Disney Illusion Island.
Hey kids, you remember Rayman Origins? Rayman Legends?
Yes, I remember those. And this looks...
It's that.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be a pretty good 2D platformer.
Yeah, it's a side-scrolling platformer, and I don't know, some of those ones from like Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo era, the platformers that Disney had were pretty good, including Castle of Illusion, and they also had like the Aladdin and Lion King games, which were annoyingly difficult at some points.
Which that was back whenever Disney made good games.
Yeah, which I do not think that this game is going to be that difficult.
It's going to be for babies.
Yep. The next one, Fire Emblem Engage expansion pass was announced. Do either of you play Fire Emblem?
Yeah, if it's a good one.
I try to.
I feel that you probably follow the same line that I do, is you don't really buy expansion passes. I could be wrong, but
only if they're worth buying, and I don't think this one's going to be worth buying.
Yeah, probably not.
It only has one character that I care about.
Fire Emblem has this problem where it can't let go of other Fire Emblem games, and it's really fucking annoying every time that's like, oh, look at that, it's the one from Smash Brothers. Don't you want to play with that? Just do something original.
Well, I watched the trailer for this, and I'm just assuming that, like, is that just part of the game? Is that you summon characters from other Fire Emblem games?
That's the part of every Fire Emblem game.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, particularly in this one, because I call them emblems. So, like, is there like a gacha element where, like, kind of like Xenoblade, where like you are just summoning random waifus and husbandos?
I don't know.
I'm just assuming. That's kind of the impression that I got. I haven't even touched Fire Emblem Engage, so
I'm not sure if it's more summoning than recruiting, but I think that's generally the idea. Yeah.
Well, I meant specifically in this one though, because like why else would they call them emblems? I mean, it'd probably help if I knew jack shit about the game, but literally the only thing I cared about this trailer for was Camilla. So she's the one with the big honkers.
I see. So I have no idea. I haven't played Fire Emblem in ever.
I don't actually care. I'm just, we gotta fill time somewhere.
There is a new game from Don't Nod, the guys who made Life is Strange, and it's called Harmony, The Fall of Reverie. I watched the trailer when it was live, and I'm trying to rewatch it without sound right now, and I have no idea what's going on.
Why has it got Spanish subtitles?
I don't know. And also, I'm looking. It doesn't have Spanish subtitles for me, so I don't know why.
Oh, sorry. I went on the Steam page, and for some reason, the first video has Spanish subtitles.
Interesting.
The second one doesn't. I still don't know what's going on. This looks boring as fuck.
It's just a teaser trailer. There's no gameplay.
It looks like there's like oh, they're doing they're doing the thing like the super, what is it, super massive? Is that the ones? The Until Dawn people. They're doing the same thing that those games, and also that Quantic Dream do, where like you have a timeline that shows you the consequences of everything you've done.
Yeah, it's a Don't Nod game. It's because it's Life is Strange. Life is Strange developer is making this game.
I don't give a fuck about this.
All right, we're gonna move on to the next one, Octopath Traveler 2.
Guess what?
You don't care, but I
don't give a fuck.
I love Octopath Traveler 1, even if I didn't beat it. I like the direction that it went in. So hopefully this game comes out as good, if not better, than Octopath Traveler 1. But I don't know if they gave a release date on this. They just say Octopath Traveler 2. Oh, February 24th, 2023.
There's a demo out right now.
Yeah. I'm not going to play it. I don't typically play demos of games that I stopped playing demos of games years upon years ago. Here's one that you might care about. Katamari Damacy. We Love Katamari Reroll Plus Royal Reverie.
Yeah. It's the best Katamari Damacy. It's the best one. They remade it.
Are you going to get it?
Yeah, I'm hyped as fuck for this shit, baby.
So if you don't know what this is, you are a tiny, tiny man trying to create your own galaxy, right?
No.
One star at a time. You have to recreate the stars because I don't remember if it was you or the King of the Cosmos who went on a romper one day and destroyed him.
The king, the king got high on coke and destroyed his kingdom.
That was the plot of the first game, at least. The second game is more of like everyone's sad because there's no more Katamari rolling. And so now you just have to roll more Katamari because that'll make everyone happy because they just like Katamari a lot.
I see.
To be fair, everyone does like Katamari quite a lot.
Everyone loves Katamari.
So you start out with a little ball, and then you roll up things and get a big ball, and then you win.
Yeah. I don't know what the Royal Reverie stuff is. I'm assuming that it's just like a bunch of side content that I don't...
You're playing as king when he was rolling all of the stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
That's all I know about it.
I'm okay with it. So the one thing I noticed on Katamari Damacy reroll that there is like some weird baked in input lag that happened on both platforms that I played the game on.
Interesting.
So I hope that is not present on We Love Katamari reroll.
Yeah, I've only played one Katamari game and I did not get very far in it because I was at a friend's house while playing it. And it's fun, but it's not really a game for me.
I've played all of them except for the PS3 one.
Why don't you do that?
It doesn't really want on Steam Deck.
Actually, I haven't tried it on Steam Deck. I didn't even think about that because I played it for like a few minutes on my hacked PS3, but uh, I only messed around with that thing for like a couple of weeks.
Next week, Aro's gonna be like, I got fired from my job because I've been playing Katamari at work.
Huh. It's you say that, but I'm gonna be on vacation all next week. I can play Katamari Damacy all I want.
Nice. We're going to move on to the next game that was showed off, which is Sabotage Studios' retro turn-based RPG Sea of Stars. It's going to come out on the 29th of August. I'm sorry if you heard a cat whining in the background.
I hear a kitty.
Yeah, she's very talkative lately. I didn't get her a muzzle. Anyway, this looks like a not bad JRPG. I know Aroa doesn't care, but
Nope.
it looks like Chrono Trigger. That's what they're aiming for, is if you look at the combat, they're definitely going for like a Chrono Trigger type battle system, which I'm all for because I played Chrono Trigger for the first time a few years ago and it was a fun game. What do you think about this, Connor? You like Chrono Trigger?
I do like Chrono Trigger. I don't like cheap imitations of Chrono Trigger.
Hey, this might be an expensive imitation of Chrono Trigger.
It doesn't make it a more acceptable imitation of Chrono Trigger.
Are you saying that there can never be a game that has similar aesthetics or battle system to Chrono Trigger?
No, I mean I loved Undertale and I love Earthbound, but looking at this, it just doesn't look like it's going to be that good so far. I could be wrong. I could knock it out of the park, but like, it's just a trailer. We don't know anything about it yet.
That's true. But I think it's neat. It's not something that, I'm definitely gonna 100% pre-order, but I'll take a look at it, especially if it releases for, something other than the frickin' Switch, because it's also the demo is available now on the Nintendo eShop if you did want to give it a try. I don't know when the release date is. They said the release date. 8/29/2023. So, what's 8?
August
29th. Did you have to go through your...
No, I knew exactly what it was. I thought you were not going to take that long.
Nope. I needed to go through the months. That's what I needed to do. There's a new game coming out called Omega Strikers, which launches on the 27th of April, which is a sports ball game.
It looks like that game that Amazon canceled a while back.
It looks... I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the name of it, and it looks cheaper.
Yeah.
But it's an overhead sports ball game where you're trying to make
it's
your
air
sports...
hockey.
Yeah, you're trying to make your sports ball into the net of the other sports ball team. So I don't know, it's free to play.
At least it's free.
Yeah, at least it's free.
It'd have to be.
Etrian Odyssey.
It's remakes of the first three, or remasters rather.
Yeah, remasters of the first 3 Etrian Odyssey games, which to me look like normal or old school dungeon crawlers.
They are.
Thankfully, they do auto-generate maps for you, unlike the original old school dungeon crawlers where you had to draw your own maps.
Back in my day, had to draw our own map.
I'm not a huge fan of old school dungeon crawlers. What about, do either of you have any fond memories of dungeon crawlers?
Not of the actual old school ones, but I like Legend of Grimrock.
Yeah, that one was probably the best that came out. I'm probably not going to be interested in buying this, but it doesn't look terrible, I guess. Very anime-esque, which I know that Connor really likes. That was sarcasm.
Who was that for?
That was for me. This is for me. And then we have Advance Wars 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I actually do think Connor liked the Advance War games.
I loved the original ones. I do think it's just too little too late in this case, but hooray, they're doing something with it.
What is Advance Wars exactly?
It's just a really lightweight tactics game that is simulated around like modern mechs and artillery, air support, and stuff like that. The
Oh, and
maps are super basic because they were based off the Nintendo Advance, Game Boy Advance, I mean to
hmm
say.
It's
And
uh it's every military strategy game on the SNES.
oh,
It's just those.
so
yeah,
so here's another question. Why didn't they show any of that in the trailer?
Because
uh,
everyone knows what Advance Wars is.
yeah, the people who want to
I
play
know.
this game are the ones who already played it.
I know, but the trailer is just like an anime style cutscene, and that's it. And then they move on.
Advance Wars does have a story. I'll be damned if I know what it is. And
Yeah.
I played like 4 of those games.
Another game that I guess technically has a story is Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe.
How dare you?
What?
Kirby has extremely deep lore.
Does it?
Kirby is literally the spawn of the entity that will inevitably destroy the world.
That sounds
Kirby
about right.
is the
yeah.
harbinger of the dark times.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So-
That's like not even incorrect.
They are making a new, well, not a new Kirby game, but they're bringing more Kirby games because they're
It's
like,
a
man, we need
remake
money.
of the remake of a remake.
Yeah, I like Kirby. It's fun games. I remember playing Kirby a few years ago, and one of my friends had played the Kirby game, but my friend is terrible at video games. And when he ran, it was, I think, the first or second Kirby game for the NES. And he didn't know that you could suck up enemies to kill them. And found out that when you ran into them, the enemy also died. So he figured that's how you kill enemies. He was very bad at video games. Not that any of us care, but they're bringing the Game Boy and Game Boy Color games are coming to Nintendo Switch Online.
That's
And
weird.
Game
They're
Boy
already on my
Advance
Steam Deck.
games. Don't forget.
And Game Boy Advance.
You get. I think Wario Land 4 is going to be one of them.
And I mean, that's probably
pretty
the
sure-
only one that matters, but
I'm pretty sure the Game Boy Advance games, looking at the other two that they show here, I wonder if it's all the ones that they gave for free for all the 3DS ambassadors.
I wonder. I have no idea. They're launching Tetris, Super Mario Land 2 through 6, Golden Coins, Super Mario Land 2 to 6, Golden Coins, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakenings DX, Gargoyle's Quest, more will be added in the future, and Game Boy Advance games are available. That's
Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Brothers 3, WarioWare Inc. Minigame Mania, Kururin, Mario Kart Super Circuit, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, and Zelda the Minish Cap.
Yep.
So I was wrong. There's no Wario Land 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then there's this other game that
Good thing Pizza Tower exists.
There's this other game we can kind of skip over. Nobody really cares about it. Metroid Prime remaster.
We already talked about it.
Yeah. To be fair, it does run pretty well on the Switch. Does not run very well right now on the Steam Deck, but I'm sure that the developers will iron that out. I've seen some reviews and previews of this, and everyone's saying that it's pretty great. It's a pretty great port, and if you do get it on the Switch, it does run at a consistent 60 frames a second.
I would fucking hope so, considering the original game did.
Yeah, you would hope so. Then there's Master Detective Archives Rain Code.
Now this is my speed. This is all me.
What is this?
Like,
I have no freaking idea.
It's a detective game.
Wait. This girl's name is Puffy Death God Shinigami.
Yeah.
And it's
Shinigami is a death demon thing.
Right. And it is a goth girl with horns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's the guy that draws Danganronpa, because it's just the Danganronpa team. It's by Chunsoft, They made
Mm.
another detective game because that's just what they do, and they're consistently good. And this looks pretty good, so
Yeah, it doesn't
I'm
look
into
terrible.
it.
What about you, Connor? Are you into this? What's it called? Master Detective Archives Rain Code? Mysteries Await?
No, I don't think this one's gonna be for me.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll have to see Oroa play through it on YouTube when he starts uploading YouTube videos again.
You know, it's been a year.
Don't the only reason it hasn't been over a year is because I upload the podcast. This one's my speed, the next one. Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 HD remaster.
I even thought that this was cool. I didn't know this was happening.
I didn't either. Very excited. I actually have Baten Kaitos 1 on my GameCube, but I've never beaten it for some reason. And maybe I'll be able to get this and actually beat it.
Isn't Baten Kaitos like really, really hard to come by too?
So I stole it from a friend.
Yeah.
It was an accident. He was like, "Here, you can borrow this." And then I never gave it back. And I messaged him a couple of years ago, and I was like, "Hey, man, I still have Baten Kaitos. Do you want it back?" And he's like, "Nah, I'm good." So we're cool. He basically
That's how I got
gave me
Super
the
Mario
game.
64.
But I think so. The Baten Kaitos 1, and then Baten Kaitos 2 is actually Baten Kaitos Origins, which is a prequel. And
That's weird.
Yeah, both of those are going to be coming to the Switch as a pack, which I'm really, really excited for. And I believe Origins is the one that's hard to come by.
Oh, okay.
I think Baten Kaitos 1 you can get pretty easily, but Baten Kaitos 2 is very expensive. Let me look this up on eBay.
I thought I remembered a Baten Kaitos game being like
So
very sought after.
It's not super expensive. It's more expensive than you want to pay for Baten Kaitos 1. It looks like it's about, $60, $60 to $70 with,
It's not so bad.
in case.
It's an older game, yeah, but for a game, that's not so bad.
Yeah. Baten Kaitos Origins, around $100. 140.
Oh, that's still not as bad as I expected.
And then, of course, there is, I'm going to look up and be sad. Dot hack volume 4. Then there's the dot hack games, which are very expensive. You can buy the dot hack games for a whole pack for $360. Yeah. Anyway,
how many games is that?
We should get back on
it's
topic.
4 games. It's 4 games.
Come on.
No, we are on
Under
top.
$100 a game.
Fantasy Life. The Girl Who Steals Time.
Yeah.
It is Animal Crossing?
You didn't play Fantasy Life?
Never played Fantasy Life.
A big hit on the 3DS.
Yeah, it's kind of like Animal Crossing, but with like a crafting system that is a lot more in depth while simultaneously not being all that in depth.
And it looks like it's a little bit of Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I don't remember if that was a part of the original game. Like there was combat, certainly. It was like a dungeon crawler, but a lot of it was the life sim stuff and like going around doing fetch quests for people and shit like that. It bored the fuck out of me, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, okay.
It might not so much now that I have been mentally conditioned by MMOs to be okay with repetitive fetch quests, but yeah, a lot of it was that like it felt like a game that was designed to almost be an MMO or at least be a multiplayer game, and it didn't really emphasize that all that much because they're like 8 different lives, which are basically the crafting systems that you could switch between, and that was how you like got the material. Like you had to mine the ore to then smelt and then craft into tools for you to then cut down trees so that you can do this thing to eventually have equipment to go out and adventure. And I just couldn't take it anymore.
So are you going to play this game? That's my question.
I might try it, honestly. I'm interested to see like if they refine, because I thought that even when I played the original Fantasy Life, that like I think if this game had some refinement and maybe wasn't on the 3DS, that it had potential. So I am curious.
There was a 24. The next trailer is a 24-second trailer, just saying that apparently Professor Layton is not dead.
We'll see.
Yeah. I know some
'Cause,
people really like Professor Layton. I've never
I
really
do.
been into it.
I like Professor Layton quite a bit. I love the little like brain teaser puzzles because it like makes me super nostalgic. I used to go through books of those things whenever I was a kid.
Oh, nice.
But I don't know how well this is going to translate to a platform that has to also work on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Because like it works fine on like a mobile device because it's still a touchscreen. Because they released those like Professor Layton spin-off games on iOS, but I don't know how this is going to work on Switch whenever you have button inputs. It I don't know. In my head, it doesn't feel like it's going to feel the same.
Yeah, my friend Rogish Bard really likes the Professor Layton games, so she's excited for it. And that's going to be...
I'm hopeful.
That it doesn't give any more information other than just like, hey, it exists. And that's it.
It's happening. It's going to be very steampunky. There you go.
Yep. The next one was the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass DLC. It includes Birdo, apparently.
Okay.
I don't care.
It's DLC for a Wii U game.
Yay! And the last one, again, something that nobody really cares about. This Legend of Zelda. Is it Tears of the Kingdom?
No, it's Tears of the Kingdom.
I would assume it. Okay. Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom.
He looks fucking great.
It does look great. I mean,
I
drive a car.
I will say Breath of the Wild, definitely the best Switch game, in my opinion. And Breath of the Wild 2 basically looks pretty great too. It looks like you might play as Zelda for some of it, not just Link. Or
I don't know.
They don't really show anything indicating that in the trailer.
I don't know where you got that.
At the very end, they show a lot of Zelda stuff. But,
oh boy. What's the game called again?
The Legend of Link.
The Legend of Mario, right.
Yeah. That's it. But
why did I laugh so hard at that?
It looks good. I'm looking forward to a new Breath of the Wild game where you
I'm looking forward to that amiibo.
If you look at 1 minute and 40 seconds in, you drive a tractor.
Legend of Zelda nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
I'm actually like really curious as to if it's going to have that sort of setup, because they mentioned in one of the interviews they did where something like you'll be able to collect materials around the world and you'll get materials from Amiibo. And it's like, materials, you say, as in you fleshed out crafting, as if that little vehicle is like something that I could customize, as in like the platform that flies around in the other part of the trailer is something I could customize. And you say I could have a fighter jet? Because I want a fighter jet in Legend of Zelda. That
seems like what I need to beat Ganon.
I'm really excited for Gary's mod, Breath of the Wild.
Like, even if that's not something that's built into the game, I hope that modders find a way to make that possible.
Yeah. It is coming out May 12th, 2023. I assume that we're all going to be picking this up at some point. Except I don't like the fact that it's $70.
Yeah, I ain't paying for it. I'll say it right now. I'm going to steal that shit.
I have a weird feeling this game is eventually going to show up on like a Super Switch or a Switch Pro or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I sure as fuck hope so.
But I am 100% sure that for them releasing this game at $70 makes sense because people are going to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're going to be like, yeah, it's Zelda. Like, yeah, it sucks that I'm paying $10 more, but it's Zelda. And
then you're going to have to pay $30 for the obligatory not on disc DLC.
Yeah.
Yep, and all the amiibo that you have to get, so that you can unlock Gary's mod. Right?
They're releasing one amiibo with it. I don't know why.
But
other
will
than just
old
it's
amiibo
easy.
work with it?
Yeah, it says that you can
hope
use
so.
amiibo from various franchises with it. Because when's the last fucking amiibo that even got released? Like
Sephiroth and I don't even know.
It was the last fucking Smash DLC besides Sora. I don't think Sora got one yet.
I don't know.
I don't either.
So,
But like, yeah, it is. Amiibo is all but dead. Like, I'm very surprised that there's an amiibo here, other than maybe they just designed it very early on in the development of Breath of the Wild 2, and they were like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. We've still got this pipeline for pumping out these figures.
well, and there's, I mean, it's probably a financial thing too. Like
They have plenty of children still available to paint these figurines.
Yeah, but I would assume that's the same reason why they put it at $70 instead of $60, and they're like, all right, amiibos haven't been doing well, but if we release an amiibo for this game, it'll probably sell a boatload of amiibo and make us lots of money, and that's it. So I'm not excited that it's going to be $70, but I am excited for the game because, of course, Breath of the Wild was, again, probably the best Switch game that ever released. Anyway, that was the Nintendo Direct. We actually spoke about all of them because it wasn't a huge amount of stories there. There weren't a huge amount of games, unlike some of the other events that we cover. I want to thank Aroa and Connor for being here.
We were here.
And I will see you both next week, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'll be here.
Oh, good. Good. At least I have somebody who's committed. Thank you for being here. Goodbye.
Bye.
Man, I hope you work out your relationship problems, man.